From the Alex Trebek stage at Sony Picture Studios, this is Inside Jeopardy!
Hello and welcome back to Inside Jeopardy, your exclusive and official podcast destination for all things happening in the world of Jeopardy! I'm Sarah Foss, and I'm joined today in the pod by the fantastically fashionable Buzzy Cohen.
Well, thank you for having me, Sarah. I'm a little disappointed that our own bongo man, Michael Peterson Davies, couldn't join us. You know, he kind of called out that he did not hear bongos in that version, but of course, true Jeopardy fans would know that I was referencing the big drums added to the GOAT theme.
Okay. I don't really think of those as bongos.
No, they're not.
I'll go with that. As you heard me say on the pod, I'm a little sad that I haven't been given an instrument.
Nor have I.
What do you picture me playing?
You're the conductor.
Oh,
You're
there
running
we go.
the show.
Okay, all right.
The maestro.
There we go.
The maestro
Foss. I feel
Sarah
it.
Foss.
I feel it. Well, I hope you had a great Valentine's Day last week.
I did, although I was surprised to log into Twitter.com and see some of our fans create some interesting and exciting, and I will say fun, Valentine's content.
Yes, of course, our social and digital team did the more official Jeopardy Valentines featuring Sam Buttrey's, I'd wager the maximum amount permitted by law on you. I actually caught up with Sam this week and he loved it. No surprise. He thought, not only have you made it when you get invited to Masters, but when you get your own Valentine, you really have made it. So those were kind of the more official ones.
Yes.
Ken's, of course, said, "You're the GOAT in my heart." Amy said, "You make me feel like $1,382,800 bucks." But then there were the off-brand ones.
Yes.
And thank you, Satera_99 on Twitter. I got a Valentine, so did you.
Yeah. Yes. I think I actually got two.
Oh, well,
But
who's counting? I got one. But I got I'd Be Clueless Without You Valentine.
yeah, I got the let's make it a 2-day total point of fare. There was I forget what the other one was, and it was like a picture that had been pulled off of Instagram of me. I was mentioning to our podcast producer Alexa earlier that I think this actually started around All-Stars when all the All-Star captains had Valentines made. But interestingly enough, back in, 2019?
Yes.
When All-Stars happened, we were not alerted that was going to happen. So I just woke up on Valentine's Day and I realized, hey, maybe I should take a closer look at those name and likeness rights I granted to Jeopardy,
Ooh.
next time.
Hey, you know what? It's all for the greater good.
All in
because
good
we
fun.
just want to promote people, whether it's on Valentine's Day or any day.
And before we move on, today is actually President's Day. So I have a question for you. I know you love it when I do not prep you with the question, Sarah.
I love it so much.
Who is your favorite president?
Well, did you know that both of my children are named after presidents?
I did know that, actually.
Yeah. So people always ask me, did I name my children? I have a daughter named Taylor after Zachary Taylor and a daughter named Reagan, Ronald Reagan. People always want to know, was it driven by them being my favorites? And honestly, I just really like the names.
So you've dodged the question, though. Who is your favorite president?
I got to go with Lincoln.
You're going with Lincoln.
I love
okay.
Lincoln.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Honest Abe.
Yeah.
Honest Abe.
Yep.
How about you?
That is a really personal question. I thank you to respect my privacy.
I actually almost named Reagan Lincoln.
Really?
Yes. In the hospital, we still had no name.
There
was an app by the time I had my second child. It was like Tinder. You would you and your husband or in your case, your wife, both get on it and you swipe left or right depending on if you like names. And then when there are matches, and Lincoln was a match for us.
That's such a good way to do it.
And also Reagan was. So there you have it. My presidential
could have been named after a car,
and,
too.
Birth story. Yeah.
Amazing.
Now, another thing that's really been catching on the World Wide Web, if you will, is our announcement last week on the pod. Michael Davies talked with Ike Barinholtz. He accepted Michael's invitation to compete in the 2023 Tournament of Champions. Lots of people, lots of feelings about this.
Of course.
You got everyone from Luigi de Guzman, who will be in that TOC.
Yeah.
He's one of 4 in the syndicated season who has already qualified. He says, heck yeah, welcome to the Jeopardy TOC, Ike Barinholtz. But then we had a lot of people who wanted to bring up the fact they're thinking, we're putting Ike in this TOC. He's going to take away a spot from an earning regular player. Hey, everyone, I just want to remind you, the TOC is an annual event now. It used to be that we would just kind of play until we had enough people to bring us to a field of 15, and then we would host the TOC. That's not happening anymore. It is an annual event. Keep in mind, we had a field of 21 contestants last year. We're up to, with Ike, 5.
Yeah.
So I want people to know the people who deserve and earn a spot in this year's TOC, they will get it. And none of those spots will be taken away by Ike Barinholtz.
I mean, as you're saying, it used to be every 1.5 to 2 years-ish, and there would be 15 people. Now it's every year you're getting 21 slots. And
or not 21.
Or not 20.
That's the thing.
Who knows?
Producer's discretion. We want the best contestants playing in the TOC.
Mathematically, we could have a field of 81. We could have a field of 81.
Yep. People are also, quick to say Ike may not fare so well in the TOC. Well, guess what? It's Ike himself who is saying, I may get clobbered, but how about the fact that he wants to get in there and compete? He's part of Learned League. He auditioned for the regular show. He wants his shot, but he's in no way, coming in cocky like, hey, I'm going to take this whole thing.
Absolutely. And I think, it's a game. It's a game. And I think Ike really enjoys the game. He wants to play. He wants to have a fun. He wants to do a good job. And also there are people in the past who said, the college tournament people shouldn't. We have a lot of college tournament people who have made it to the finals. Teachers tournament people say it's not at the same level as the regular season. Colby Burnett won. I almost didn't make it into the finals against Jason Sterlocki, who was a teachers tournament winner. So I think this is a great experiment. We're going to see how good this celebrity champion really is.
Yeah, and I just think anyone who loves this show the way that Ike does will take it as seriously as possible. He's not looking at this as some celebrity, show event. Like, he wants to compete because he loves Jeopardy, not some version of Jeopardy. He loves the Jeopardy he's been watching since he was a kid. Yeah. So I think it's a great addition.
I'd love to coach him. All right,
I know he already received help from
Andy Wood. Yep, he sure did, and some other people. I'm just saying, I see him so much potential. As somebody who really loves this game, so much potential that could. Man, I just want to take him to the next level. I'd love to coach him to win.
All right, you heard it here first, Ike Barinholtz. Buzzy Cohen, you are his Rocky.
Yes,
and
exactly.
He just wants to take you to the next level.
I'll be your Mickey.
All right, well, just a quick reminder, again, tonight is the kickoff of our high school reunion tournament. So that is going to run for the next 3 weeks. We've done something really special. We've put up all of their original episodes because, as you remember, the contestants that are competing in the high school reunion tournament initially competed in season 35. We had 2 teen tournaments that year because we had this incredible field of students. So you can go back on our YouTube channel. You can watch all of their original episodes, see how they performed then, and tune in today to start seeing how they're going to perform now. It's so fun to take a look at how much they've evolved in just a few short years. And Michael Davies was so impressed because, again, he's always talking about our player development, our young champions, you look at Mateo Roach and how good they were in their initial run. And now, how much better will they be as they get older, as they learn more? Well, these kids, I call them kids.
Young people.
These students or recent graduates are just a
these
really...
adults. Recent adults. Is that a word?
Let's go with it.
Okay.
These recent adults...
That feels wrong.
That feels wrong. Are a great reflection of how much you can learn in just a few short years. And I think all of them really represented that so well. So I can't wait to get into that. But right now, we've got to get into the recaps. So let's cue the beep boops. All right, on Monday, Mira Hayward returned to compete against Jeff Payne and Kendra Westerhouse. This was a close Jeopardy round. All 3 players ended within $800 of each other. Kendra going in with just that small lead. I have to say one of my favorite moments from the Jeopardy round was TV catchphrases for 1,000. It was a clue about Mork. This double talk Orkin sign off. What is Nanu Nanu? And then all of a sudden we go to break and Ken does his best Nanu Nanu. He grabbed his ears and everything.
Incredibly impressive. I have to say, I was excited to see Mira. Was hoping Mira might go on a little bit of a longer run.
Yeah.
It was just like, there are these people that you just can tell they're having a good time. Just so genuine. I also loved when she had spoken in her contestant interview about appearing on the Antiques Roadshow as an even younger person. And the
Was
Antiques...
she a recent adult back then?
No, she was a child. But the Antiques Roadshow posted the video. They're like, we remember you. And they posted that video of her. It was very, very sweet.
Yes, even in her interview, in Monday's Game, when she thanked her boss at the podcast that she writes for at Noble Blood, saying, "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to write a random episode that worked for Jeopardy." I love when things happen just out of the blue.
Yeah.
Obviously couldn't have expected that she would have known about that. In this game, though, Double Jeopardy, another tight round, 7, 8, and 9 correct responses for all three of our players. Everyone with a 5-digit score at the end of Double Jeopardy. That's always a sign of a great game and a really good competition. But it was Kendra who had that lead going into final with the help of a late daily double.
Yeah, Kendra converting on both those daily doubles in the Double Jeopardy round to have just a small lead over Mira and Jeff, but she was able to convert on Final Jeopardy, and the rest, as they say, is history. So Kendra is now our champion going into Tuesday's game against Lauren Bell and Blaine Smith.
Kendra got off to a slow start, but she found a daily double, strung together enough correct responses to take that small lead heading into Double Jeopardy. Double Jeopardy, more of the same. She found both daily doubles late in the round. Now, she missed the first one, but then she earned back $2,000 on the second one. Blaine, in second place, he battled his way through the round, narrowly avoiding the runaway.
Yep.
Kendra gets the last clue. She's got exactly double Blaine's score. We're thinking Final Jeopardy is going to be interesting, but it's not.
It's not interesting. Yeah, there are all these mathematical models about, when second place has exactly half or 2/3 and all that stuff. So there's a lot of interesting game theory stuff to be had here. Kendra making an interesting call here with a $0 wager.
Yeah, she said that she thought it'd be fun to go into sudden death. Fun.
Wow.
Yeah. You know who didn't think it would be fun? Blaine.
Blaine did not think it would be fun.
He just didn't want to win.
Yeah, Blaine's in a tough position. You bet it all and you either go into a sudden death or you lose by $1, or you go down to 0 and you're finishing in third place.
Right. So at this point, at least, he goes home with $2,000.
Yep.
All right. Now, we do have to point out, Kendra wrote Hallie's comment with just one L. Ken commented on it. But remember, if it doesn't change the pronunciation, and half the people call it Haley's comment anyway, we still accept it. So that's the reasoning behind that. Also want to point out, in Double Jeopardy, there was a clue, the ghost of Tom Joad for 1,200, looking at a Hudson Super 6 named for its 6 of these. Feel the presence of the Joads who converted one into a truck and piled in. We were going for a 6-cylinder engine. Lauren did respond with what are pistons. We did stop down for this. We did discuss it, but it wasn't named for the pistons. It was named for the 6-cylinder. So just want you to know, we thought about it too. We did the research. We stopped down, and we were confident that we came up with the correct response on that one. All right, moving on to Wednesday with Kendra going for her third win, this time facing Stephen Webb and Jason Carpenter.
Stephen really, took a while to get going, although did get that daily double in the Jeopardy round. Really made the move with that second daily double in Double Jeopardy, a $7,000 daily double to go into a basically $6,000 lead and getting final correct. A very well-played game by Stephen.
And another game with great scores from all three of our players heading into Double Jeopardy. So this was tough competition for whoever came out ahead. People on Reddit seemed to love Stephen. They called him relatable, likable. He himself responded on Reddit, "Thanks, I was basically terrified the whole time." And then Kendra followed up with, "I can vouch for this. Stephen was shaking, but still killing it on the buzzer."
Yeah, I think that is, even as a contestant, that's a pretty relatable experience. I likened my first time being on the show as to trying to answer questions while being on Splash Mountain or like a roller coaster or something.
Wow.
Like yeah.
Which I know you love roller coasters and Splash Mountain, but I don't know if I'd want to play Jeopardy while doing that.
Exactly. There is a certain tight-grippedness to it, but Stephen comes out victorious and is our champion going into Thursday's game where he faces Allie Miller and Brad Weinstock.
Oh, and Brad Weinstock. Guess whose book he used to prepare?
He posted on Instagram that he used my book to prepare, and I thought that was very sweet. And I actually sent him a DM on Friday, just saying what, a great game he played, and that I hope the book helped. And he said it really did help him get his head and his heart in the right place, because he was, he was like, I wasn't having fun preparing, and I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And I think, he said it really helped with his mindset. I just want to say, even though he did not win, he really played a great game out there.
Well, when I think of you, Buzzy, I also think of someone whose head and heart is always in the game of life. That's my Valentine for you.
Oh.
In the Jeopardy round, Stephen was dominating. He had a perfect 13 for 13 correct responses, an early true daily double. He comes into Double Jeopardy, another perfect round, 9 for 9. Brad split the 2 daily doubles and was just out of reach, unfortunately. Despite all that knowledge.
It's hard to be up against a competitor like Steven, who finishes the Jeopardy round with 10,200. I think
Jeopardy round.
Yeah, I think a lot of people finish Double Jeopardy in first place with 10,200, right, and then more than doubles that again in Double Jeopardy, finishing with a runaway without hitting either of the daily doubles in the Double Jeopardy round. This is a strong player. This is one to watch, I'd say.
One to watch. We head into Friday's game. Stephen going for his 3rd win against Laura Donegan and Will Travis. Yes, I know you're thinking, Donegan, I've heard that name. Not only is Laura Donegan the mother of Kristen Donegan, who competed in the JNCC, but she's also the mother of Kira Donegan, who competed in the syndicated show and was a one-day champion with a total of $27,601. This is some good genetics right here.
This is a real family affair. And looking at her score, Laura, a little bit of a slow Jeopardy round, but a
close round, even with a champion like Stephen.
And I would say Stephen's the problem here. If you're Laura or Will, I hate to say it, but
look at the problem.
Let's look at the problem. Stephen also getting that first daily double and converting hugely on it. Once again, another runaway.
Yeah, he heads into Double Jeopardy. He ends up with science for $1,200. It's a daily double. Ken says, as a scientist, will you wager big here? Yes, he will. He bets it all. He is correct. Just a reminder, folks, all of our games are prepared completely independent of any of the contestants who are competing. Luck of the draw there. Not that Stephen needed the luck in this game, but he does, as you say, get a runaway. Will was actually the only one who was correct in final.
And if Will had had different luck on that second daily double, we would be looking at a 19,400 and getting final correct. We'd have a new champion. But Stephen finishes the week as a 3-day champion and gets to take a little break as we go into our high school reunion.
I think it's great for Stephen. He gets to be a reigning Jeopardy champion for a few weeks. That doesn't usually happen unless there is a summer hiatus.
That happened to me.
It did happen to you.
It did happen to me, yeah.
We just got to keep your run going. We got to wait for it to continue.
I went to Las Vegas in the middle of in that hiatus and did some gambling and was recognized a little bit. It was kind of fun.
Those were the early days of your recognition.
Exactly.
Of course, it's only increased now.
I think it's decreased now, actually. But we can talk about that on another podcast, Inside Buzzy's Insecurity.
All right, that's coming up soon. But for now, as we mentioned, high school reunion tournament. Mayim Bialik is back in syndication for the first time this season. So she'll be on today. Stephen will return along with Ken Jennings on March 10th in syndication. We're looking forward to seeing if Stephen's streak can continue. But for now, let's answer some viewer questions.
Odd Manufacturer 963 on Reddit asks, if there's a 2-day tournament with cumulative scoring like at the end of a typical TOC, why is this person avoiding saying a 2-day total point affair? But okay. And one player finishes the Double Jeopardy round with a negative score. Unlikely, I know, but not impossible. Does that get deducted from what they score on the other day, or is it just zeroed out?
It is zeroed out.
Ah.
Yeah. The only time we've actually seen this in the past was in GOAT.
Right.
A certain Brad Rutter, unable to
My
have
fellow
a
chaser.
positive score. And we really hope that doesn't happen in the future because it's no fun for anyone.
I think if Michael Davies has his way, the 2-day total point affair might be a thing of the past.
I don't know. It's finding its way into some of our plans.
See, I know nothing. That's how you know I really know nothing about what's going on in the show. But I love it. I just love saying it. And yeah, it is a rarity. I feel like there is an interesting game theory aspect to it, though, where it's like if you're going down, maybe you just start guessing like crazy because go down hard. If it's going to get zeroed out, negative 100 or negative 15,000 doesn't make a difference.
Well, I will say the high school reunion tournament features a 2-day total point of fair.
I'm excited.
And I'm just going to tease that it does not disappoint.
I know that Michael likes the kind of playoff approach, but there's some drama that can happen in a 2-day total.
It has its place. Like all things, I think there is a place where this is the right format for certain things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, moving along, Jackie asks, when a contestant lands on a daily double, how much time are they allowed to decide how much to wager? Wagering is a tricky business. How do you manage a contestant that's having a hard time making a decision?
Well, we don't have a specific amount of time set aside for the actual wagering. You know, we lean on our hosts to kind of push them along. You'll hear Ken or Mayim say, so-and-so, I need a wager,
Yep.
so we kind of push them along. The clue has not been revealed, so you're not giving an advantage in terms of responding correctly. Now, once the clue is revealed in a daily double, you have 8 seconds. So that is a timed period. You have 8 seconds to give your response in a daily double. But in terms of your wagering, obviously, we're not going to let you stay up there for 5 minutes and think about your life's history before you make a wager. But we'll give you some time, and our host will kind of push our contestants along to make that wager in a timely manner.
Yes, my friend and former adversary, I guess, Alan Lynn, very famously would be up there.
I forgot about that.
He would calculate how much money was left on the board and do all kinds of math. And it was like they edited it down a lot for TV because, that's a part that for the
but
editors.
to watch him while he did it and the way his eye line would shift, I had forgotten about that.
I think the social media team had fun, like with sort of the meme of the math. Flying
what
around
is going on in Alan's head?
I have trouble doing just basic math. I chose clues that I had already answered on the board, so the fact that he could do that, just unbelievable.
Well, many contestants say the math is the scariest part of Jeopardy.
Yeah,
Forget the knowledge, it's the math.
I was on the chase and I messed up a question because I did the math wrong, and I said I thought I had it in my contract, no math on TV, and whatever happens going forward, that will be in my contract. All right.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first and last. That is it for today's show. As we mentioned, we'll be back next week to discuss the first 5 quarterfinal games of the very exciting high school reunion tournament, which will culminate in a 2-day total point of fair.
It will. You won't want to miss it. And as always, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast, rate us, leave us a comment, share across social, and follow us at Jeopardy on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on TikTok. And send us your questions to InsideJeopardyPodcast@gmail.com. We'll see y'all next week.
Grab that drum, Michael.
more great Jeopardy videos,
hit the subscribe button below.